forks. Firstly, price reform once again faces a fork in the market or administration. At that time, the marketization of consumer goods was radical. The one-step implementation led to severe inflation with CPI reaching %, and some major cities such as Beijing exceeding % indicat in that price reform is not as simple as marketization. The shock therapy severely damaged economy of Russia is a clear proof. Today, if the price of resource goods is released at once, it is likely to repeat the price breakthrough of years. But price controls also distorts the market. For example, market coal plant power has made % of state-owned power enterprises lose money, and % of Shanxi power enterprises' capital chain may be broken or will lead to power shortage this summer. It can be seen that price marketization is still a major direction, but the market-oriented transformation from planned thinking cannot be achieved overnight, which often requires a process. Therefore, in the process of reform, it is necessary to adhere to the marketization of prices while maintaining social stability through administrative power. Undoubtedly, becoming the leader of left ping the standard of right balance. Secondly, the direction of price reform has been determined, but the market-oriented approach faces a choice, which is to linearly follow the god painting 破窈窕, or non-linear feeling stones crossing the river. In the SU, under the advocacy of price liberalization both domestically and internationally, the world believed that long pain is better than short pain. In a shortage economy, the feasibility of directly connecting prices through linear deduction not only failed to achieve price reform, but also triggered a wave of panic buying and hoarding, which taught profound lessons. But this attempt precisely proves that Western medicine cannot cure all diseases, and the linear approach is not suitable for China's atypical, high complexity, and multi-drop national conditions. The reason why we were able to overcome the dilemma of consumer goods reform back then was still due to the dual-track system that can simultaneously balance history and development. This non-linear innovation is a dual-track system on an incremental basis, gradually rewriting the price mechanism through price liberalization in the production field. In fact, this integration under the shortage economy has been undergoing twists and pains until the economy shifted from shortage to surplus and it was only then that it was natural and normal to connect. From this it can be seen that the feasible path for resource price reform is still a dual-track system. But this dual-track system is not the same as in the previous market. A culture of long-term stability and stability in inflation has been formed and consolidated. After World War II, the German central bank went through a process from decomposition to reconstruction. After World War II, Reichsbank stopped its business. On the basis of the branches of the former Reichsbank, the occupying power established Landeszentralbanken, the central bank of each state in Germany. In order to promote currency reform, the Deutsche Bank was established on top of the state central bank to be responsible for currency issuance, policy coordination, and foreign exchange management. In accordance with the law of the Deutsche Bundesbank, the Deutsche Bundesbank was merged with the State Central Bank and the Berlin Central Bank to establish the Deutsche Bundesbank. Deutsche Bundesbank to perform the functions of the German Central Bank. Both the Deutsche Bundesbank and its predecessor, the Deutsche Banks, have been committed to maintaining the stability of the Deutsche Mark's currency value and achieving low inflation. As shown in the table, they have won widespread praise. During this period, Germany's average inflation rate was the lowest among the group of 7 countries. Weidmann: the long-term stability of Germany's inflation rate has also allowed for the continuation or even strengthening of a culture of stability. A stable culture in Germany is not the norm, and without the protection of the central bank, it is also a fragile norm. If the painful experience suffered by Germans in the years of rampant inflation and suppressed inflation has sown the seeds of a culture of stability or anti-inflation, then the outstanding performance of the German Central Bank in maintaining price stability and promoting price stability has nurtured a culture of stability that not only runs through the era of great stability but also continues to this day. That is, who can tell stories, whose stories are more credible, and who has more wealth. At present, investment banks seem to be the king of stories. Whether it's internationally renowned Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, or China's struggling private equity funds, they are all passionate about telling stories, ranging from building friendships with the president and prime minister to hyping up rumors about the chairman of a listed company. The purpose of hype is nothing more than to increase their equivalent. The financial civilization does not exist independently of other civilizations, but is linked to the first 3 civilizations. For example, agricultural listed companies graft financial civilization onto agricultural civilization, amplifying the achievements of agricultural civilization several times or tens of times through a financial civilization. Technology-based venture capital funds graft financial civilization onto industrial and information civilization, greatly improving the efficiency of industrial and information civilization. At present, the most successful grafting is still in investment NKS, including popular IDG technology venture capital funds, VC venture capital, PE private equity investment, etc. Each of the 4 economic civilizations has its own differences. The older the era, the more complete its knowledge system is. However, at the same time, its knowledge is the efficacy also accelerates the decline. The characteristics of different economic civilizations vary greatly, and the corresponding knowledge systems have significant differences. Judging the development trend of the next civilization based on the knowledge laws of the previous civilization is similar to the Battle of Guangdong and Qiyingqing. At present, the society is generally unaware of the arrival of financial civilization. Became popular in countries such as India, emphasizing the government's control over currency flow, which became the mainstream opinion in academia, and most mathematicians were still advocating for free currency floating before this. At the same time, discussions about the financial explosion in China are also on the rise, with the mainstream view that China is at the center of the vortex and has a high probability of crisis. They are worried that China will be blown up and then destroyed. In fact, the current situation of China's finance is more aptly described as the financial explosion because it represents a long-awaited energy, and the process of ultimately entering the financial explosion can be controlled by the government. In the absence of a sound financial system in China, relevant departments will not easily loosen financial regulations. As a result, China's financial civilization will transition from the financial explosion to a controlled explosion. From the perspective of Chinese reality, industrial civilization and agricultural civilization are still ongoing, and information civilization is beginning to emerge. The financial industry, on the other hand, belongs to the model of strict national regulation and a conservative approach. At this moment, entering the financial civilization still requires several hurdles. The first is the effective grafting of financial civilization with industrial civilization, agricultural civilization, and information civilization. As China's economic development mainly depends on backward state-owned enterprises, the traditional economy civilization dominated by these state-owned enterprises is likely to be magnified in the financial civilization, and finally destroyed by the financial civilization. Once the country liberalized the private economy and the innovation vitality of the whole society, it is likely to enter a benign interaction state of the four civilizations. The second is the level of understanding of the game rules of financial civilization by relevant parties, and the degree of subversion of the wisdom of industrial civilization. For example, many experts believe that the phenomenon of nationwide stock trading is abnormal and a signal of the stock market reaching its peak, while officials from the State-Owned Assets Supervision and Administration Commission believe that nationwide stock trading is a great thing due to our limited knowledge. It is difficult to grasp it clearly within a limited time frame, regardless of the purpose for which this statement is made. At least it indicates that the management still allows room for discussion on new phenomena, rather than blindly denying them. China's hybrid finance effectively balances tolerance and control, and may dominate the next wave of financial civilization. In the national economy have not had a significant impact on the real estate market, and there has been no mutual influence or kidnapping between the overall national economy and the real estate market. The reason why Germany stands out among developed economies and even countries and the world can be attributed to analyze both the real estate market and real estate finance. In terms of the real estate market, Germany has long adhered to the principle of renting houses as the main source and purchasing houses as a supplement. As of 2020 in Germany, the self-owned housing rate was only 43%. While rental housing accounted for 57%. As is well known, only self-owned housing can be hyped in the market, while the property rights and physical properties of rental housing determine that it cannot enter the scope of market hype. Therefore, the natio Now, policy of prioritizing rental housing fundamentally weakens the relationship between the real estate market and the financial system, and eliminates the vicious cycle of mutual reinforcement between the two. Not only that, but the government has also implemented strict and thoughtful management of rent in the rental housing market, further strengthening the management of the real estate market. As a comparison, the self-owned housing rate of Chinese residents reached 89.84% in 2020, far exceeding 69% world average. Therefore, it is very difficult to implement the policy of housing without speculation based on this real estate market structure. On the real estate finance side, Germany also has great characteristics. The Mystery of Finance, the German financial system comparative research, provides a concise summary of Germany's housing finance system, which effectively controls the housing finance market with the prudent housing finance system. Fixed interest rates are dominant and effectively isolate the disturbance of monetary policy changes on the real estate market. Based on the MLV mortgage loan value method, mortgage value evaluation is carried out, and a prudent refinancing system is designed. Low loan-to-value ratio and using MLV as a benchmark to calculate loan-to-value ratio can avoid the cyclical overlap between the financial and real estate markets, blocking the spiral cycle of rising housing prices and mortgage expansion. The management of asset appreciation mortgage loans in Germany is quite distinctive. This book even believes that strict management of asset growth mortgage loans has largely blocked the positive feedback relationship between the real estate market and the financial market, preventing the real estate market and real estate finance from becoming the main factors that disrupt the overall economic and financial operation.